Welcome everybody to a new comic book issue review. Detective Comics issue 40 is the first appearance of the first Batman villain to be named Clayface. This issue has a release date of June 5th, 1940, and the cover date is the same. The cover shows a man chopping off a flagpole that Robin is holding onto the end of, and Batman appearing behind the guy grabbing the axe out of his hand. Now, I saw someone say that the man with the axe here is supposed to be the Joker, but I don't see it. Before I start, I want to show you all this cool promo for this issue. It says, "Beware of Clayface." The cover story is called The Murders of Clayface. It's written by Bill Finger, penciled by Bob Kane, inked and lettered by Jerry Robinson. Today, Bruce Wayne is meeting his girlfriend Julie Madison at a movie studio named Argus Pictures. Yes, Argus, like the Suicide Squad in the future, but this is obviously a different thing. For fun, Argus stands for a 100-eyed giant from Greek mythology, like 1,000 eyes watching a movie play. Anyway, we are also introduced to many people surrounding this production, a remake of an old horror movie titled The Terror, when Basil Carlo, the greatest character and makeup artist, walks in to congratulate his successor. We learn about how Carlo's actions in the past gave him bad publicity, so he got boycotted. Then we see the old director get fired from his picture, and another actress, Laura Dane, breaks up with her boyfriend, Fred Walker, since he's losing popularity. And there's a gangster trying to get protection money. Yeah, so this is the most tension-filled movie studio ever. Well, when production starts and a death scene is being filmed, a mysterious man turns out the lights and really kills Laura Dane, starting a mystery that the Batman and Robin are going to solve. When production starts up again a week later, Batman sees the gangster threatening the movie producer, but Batman stops him and his goons. The gangster confesses that he was just using the murder as an opportunity to capitalize on it, so it wasn't him. There's a creepy moment where Walker is left hanging from a hanger in his closet, dying slowly after getting attacked by Clayface. This is where Batman learns the villain's name, and the suspects from the opening are growing more and more narrow, but Basil Carlo, being such a nice guy congratulating his replacement, he couldn't be it, right? Wrong, it was Basil Carlo, and I think I would have suspected him before it was revealed if I read this comic when it released. With Batman premiering in Detective Comics issue 27, this makes Clayface one of the first Batman supervillains ever. Yes, I prefer the mud monster Clayface we have now, but for what this comic gives us, I really like the slasher style horror story he has here, an explanation of Carlo going mad because the role of the Terror is all he had to hold on to as he ages. On top of that, with him being a method actor and really getting into his roles, it explains why his mind snaps when concerning the Terror and he gets career jealousy. I like how most of Clayface's plot, he followed the movie's plot, killing people in order of how they would have died in the film. Walker was killed though because he spotted Carlo in his Clayface makeup, and these fights between the heroes and Clayface were believable, I'd say. Usually it's like a normal person going toe-to-toe with Batman, and yeah, that's unrealistic, but a guy who is in theater knowing how to land and take hits, that makes him standing up to the dynamic duo more believable. In fact, Clayface could have killed Robin here, although Clayface got lucky because Robin knocked himself out by accidentally hitting his head on a lamp. He then throws Robin off the castle set into the real moat below to drown, causing the Batman to dive in after him. Clayface's next and last murder attempt is against Julie Madison. I will say, this is Julie Madison's fourth appearance, and I'd say one of her greatest appearances, as mostly she's just Bruce Wayne's girlfriend in the comics. Here, she's part of the plot, and it has to deal with a big Batman rogue, Clayface. She also has a role in the future when Clayface returns in Detective Comics 49. I didn't like the art here. Well, maybe I just didn't like the coloring. It really seemed a little bit messy. Same thing with the line work. I've seen more cleaned up printings of this story, and I still don't like it as much as other Batman stories at the time, at least in the way of art. The ending of this story has a unique moment in comics at the time, in my opinion, because it had Robin, the kid's sidekick, defeating the villain at the end instead of Batman, the title character. At first, Basil Carlo seemed so nice and easygoing, but it turned out he was a very egotistical man. Batman says that all the horror roles he took in his career took position of his mind, and I guess that viewpoint is very interesting, I'd say. I guess if you're surrounded by violence and fear so much, you may contribute to it eventually. So, nowadays, I think this is one of the greatest first appearances of a supervillain. It's one of my favorites. It has a great mystery and a good creepy atmosphere. Okay, so now for the rest of this video, I'm going to talk about two other stories under the cover of Detective Comics 40. I will now talk about The Crimson Avenger and the Mysterious Rays. The story is all done by Jack Leahy. A new criminal robs an armored truck by using a mysterious rays that are shot from a sniper position to literally paralyze an entire block. This weapon was made by the classic mad scientist, which was the most interesting part of the story. In the final fight, the mad scientist tries to use his ray on the Crimson Avenger. It has no effect, though. The vigilante is wearing protective rubber clothing, while the scientist has no defense against the gas gun. I just wanted to talk about this story because it had a cool weapon used by the antagonist, and I'll also add that the mad scientist is never given a name here. He's just mad scientist. And now, another story in here is called Speed Saunders, the Jewel Robbers. The story was also made by one guy, Fred Gardenier. Oh well. Speed Saunders stumbles upon a jewel robbery and grabs onto the rear of the getaway car. The thieves go around a turn, throwing Speed Saunders off. He manages to slow his fall and land on an outcropping. Speed relays the name of the leader he overheard to the police, then heads to their hideout. Speed intercedes in a firefight with the crooks when the crooks argue about how to split the money, managing to single-handedly capture them. I honestly liked reading this story, even though it was very plain, but sometimes you need that. One quick thing, on the screen, this is a full-page ad for Batman issue 1. You could say that with hindsight, this story isn't as important or as good with how much the Clayface character has changed, but I still love the Batman story in this a lot. With that said, I thank you for watching, and have a good day.